Hello and welcome. We have tons of updates regarding the potential $2,000 stimulus check and how the odds of that may have changed due to the results from the latest runoff election in Georgia. There's a lot going on here. It might be pretty exciting. So let's just jump right into the details. As of right now, the runoff election in Georgia is leaning heavily towards the Democratic candidates. Warnock is certified as the winner against Loeffler, and Ossoff is currently holding 50.2% of the votes over Republican Perdue. So Democrats are counting this as a win, as a victory. However, there's surely going to be a fight here for a while to really get that final certification of these results. It could take weeks, or even like the presidential election, it may even be a month or so before they're finally like, nope, these are the winners, these are the losers, and then we can move on from there. I mean, I was checking into this last night, and the race, especially with Ossoff and Perdue, was so close. At one point, it was like 800 votes apart, and then it flip-flopped, and it's been pretty crazy to follow this. And as of the recording of this, we are at about 98% of the votes reported. So it's leaning that way, but we can't say 100% certainty as of yet. But what does this mean for the larger $2,000 stimulus checks? Well, it means pretty good things. So let's really get into the details here. If these results are certified that the Democrats in the Senate win this runoff election, this would be the first time the Democrats control the Senate in 6 years. The last time would be Obama's first term as president. And this would make Chuck Schumer the majority leader of the Senate, taking McConnell's place. They swap, and McConnell would then become the minority leader in the Senate. And once the results are certified, this Congress has already started, so those winners will automatically be a part of the voting process within the Senate, and things will go on as they are right now. How it sits, Perdue, his Senate seat actually expired on the 3rd of January, so he's not technically in the Senate right now, even though he's in a race to be in the Senate. So it's a very weird situation with these runoff elections, especially with the fact that they were on the 5th. His seat ended on the 3rd. There was like a 2-day period there. But yeah, the whole thing is kind of wonky with how each state has their own rules on how these things work out. So if Democrats win these seats, it will allow Democratic priorities to be passed much more easily through the presidency, through the House, of course, which is already a Democratic majority, and then, of course, through the Senate. And then we can really add this together once we take into consideration that President Biden has promised $2,000 checks after the Democratic wins in Georgia. He said this a few weeks ago, and as soon as his inauguration is in place, there's going to be a lot of people saying, hey, Biden, what about these $2,000 checks, so long as those results are certified. So if you're one of the people who are banking on these $2,000 checks, it's looking better and better as time goes on. And also, if we remember, Kamala Harris actually wanted $2,000 checks per month through her Relief Act that she was a part of way back in May. However, there's no indication that this would actually be taken into consideration or passed by the Biden administration, but we just know that she was a strong proponent of getting that money out. So additional relief could happen very quickly after the certification of those results. And then along with the larger stimulus checks, there's a whole host of other potential relief and more spending that we might see happen in the near future. We're looking at more infrastructure spending, things on roads, bridges, things like that, climate change legislation, expanded healthcare benefits. At this point, let's just get this healthcare system fixed. There's no reason that I should have to pay like $400 a month for the world's worst healthcare that basically only covers if I get a heart attack or something like that. It's ridiculous, the healthcare. But that's not what this is about. And we might also be looking at some bills on student debt forgiveness. If we look back a couple months, Biden was talking about potentially forgiving $10,000 in student debt to each person who holds student debt, which would, of course, be huge for those who have these massive student debt burdens right now. But we shouldn't say that if Democrats get these additional 2 seats in the Senate, that everything they want to be passed is going to be passed easy breezy. There's a few reasons that will still make this difficult to get absolutely anything passed, but they just simply have more leverage. It's going to be easier for them to pass these particular items that they want, or at least they're going to have more negotiating power to get more of what they want. So there's really two issues that are standing in the way from them getting whatever they want. And of course, it's always good to have some checks and balances. We don't want one party having control of everything, or any one group. We want to avoid that groupthink problem of just, this is our issue, this is the only way to solve it. We want conflicting ideas, so the best ideas win. But the first issue is many changes in bills in the Senate require 60 votes. As of right now, if these 2 seats are won for Democrats, that would give them 48 seats, plus the 2 independent senators typically lean very Democratic, so that gives them the 50 votes, and then the Republicans have their own 50 votes. And the reason that this really matters is more and more over time, senators vote with their party lines. So many bills will be split 50-50 down the middle. And what happens in that case is the tiebreaker is made by Kamala Harris, who of course is Democratic and wants these more liberal programs to go through. So odds are we'll see more and more programs like that. But they still need those 60 votes for many bills. There are certain situations where they can lump things into spending bills and just need a simple majority of 50 votes and then get that tiebreaker, but it's not just easy breezy, like we said. And then another reason is Democrats who are more centrist aren't going to go for every single huge spending bill. There's a spectrum, and not every single Democrat wants these huge spending bills. We see people vote against bills, especially in the House with so many members. And also, that's another point. In the House, Democrats have the smallest majority that they've had in years. I think the difference is only like 11 seats or something like that. So that makes it just a little bit harder to get those things passed, but overall, it's easier than it would have been months ago. But if more relief were to get passed now, it would actually be a pretty good time. We saw in December, private payrolls were down 123,000 jobs. So we were seeing a situation where unemployment was slowly going down and down and down. And then the more recent past, we've actually seen unemployment start to go up. And this is due to a combination of factors. I think things are generally more slow in the winter. There's a lot of businesses that are busier in the summer. So that definitely has something to do with it as well. But COVID cases are also up. And we're seeing all-time new peaks for cases and deaths and other things that are limiting the economy as well. But, the stock market is doing okay, which that's a terrible measure of how your average American is doing. That's a much better measure of how these huge corporations and super rich people are doing. So whenever you see like, oh, the economy's doing good, the stock market's doing good, that's not a good measure of it. So in summary, if the Democrats are certified to win these runoff elections, the odds of the increase of the stimulus check size from 600 to 2,000 greatly increases. These odds are really jumping up. I mean, we have the Democrats and the House who already want this. We have many Republicans who wanted this, and that was largely due to President Trump pushing for this. This wasn't at all really in the conversation until President Trump said we should have these $2,000 checks, and the Democrats are like, yeah, we definitely should. And then many Republicans who want to align with the president were also like, yeah, that seems like a good idea. Plus, America wants it. The citizens want it. Really, on both sides of the political spectrum, people want this to be made, and I think overall the odds of this happening have greatly increased in the last day, even given the little bit of uncertainty that we still have. So that's all we have for today. If you appreciate me keeping you up to date on all things stimulus and relief, just go ahead and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. It's free. Why not? I'm here. I'm consistent. I'm making sure that you're up to date. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and have a very profitable day.